That was a special one last night, Mazz.
Was it ever? Holy crap. Was it ever?
That was a special kind of loss. That was one of those back in the day where you'd throw the remote through the television or kick the television over or whatever the case may be.
Throw it out the window.
That was a special kind of Red Sox loss. We start with that play because that was really the last play of the game for all intents and purposes. So we'll start with that. And that's what we begin today on Wednesday, August 20th, here from our Town Fair Tire Studios. Mazz and Murray alongside. How you guys doing?
Good, you?
Very good.
The DraftKings Sportsbook brings you Felger and Mazz here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The simulcast brought to you by Supercuts on NBC Sports Boston, where we beam across New England and the country here on the network. What happened there? It was shaping up what could have been maybe one of their signature wins of the year. Mm-hmm. And they've had a bunch of them. But this would be another in a long line of sort of wins you look back on and say, if they do anything this year, that'll be one of the things that set the tone for it. They had been frustrated for much of the game. They blew some opportunities. Bases loaded in the ninth, struck out 3 times. They do tie it in the ninth, though. The new guy, Nathaniel, what's his name?
Lowe.
Nathaniel Lowe with a 2-run home run. Really big Fenway moment. 3-3. Then they load the bases. Can't get him home. Then they get in the 10th inning. Can't score that runner. It goes to the 11th. They're down a run, and wouldn't you know it, for once they try and manufacture a run, and they actually do the job. Connor Wong with a sacrifice bunt. Here comes Roman Anthony. You've got Nate Eaton at third base, who is their fastest runner, correct?
Yeah.
One of them, yeah.
So, I don't know, Jimmy. I think you put in our email, he's their fastest runner. Is that confirmed? Like 95th percentile, whatever?
Amongst major league sprinters.
He's in the 95th percentile among major league sprinters.
Yes.
So in the 5th percentile, if you will.
Okay.
However you want to look at that.
Yep.
He's really good.
You want to get fast, guys, like Sir Nate Eaton Hogg.
Roman Anthony hits a shallow fly to left center.
I object.
What?
Because I don't think it was shallow. I think it was medium.
Right, it was deep enough.
I think it was medium. I don't think it was shallow. Sorry, I'm not picking on you. But there's this thing out there about, well, the ball wasn't deep.
They made it sound like it was
it wasn't deep. It wasn't shallow. It was in between. It was in the middle. But anyway, go ahead.
But people act like it was like behind second base. It was deep enough. I'm with Mazz.
No, the number I heard was 265. So whether that's right or not, or I misheard it, it was medium depth left center.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the third base coach's name?
Kyle Hudson.
Didn't send arguably your fastest runner when you had purposely bunted him over for just that purpose, to score a run and tie the game without recording a hit. Mazz, your thoughts?
I find that sequence really to be the one that agitated me the most for obvious reasons. For the longest time, I've been taught and I was told, when in doubt, if it's gray, make the opponent make the play. Make them make the play. Then if they make the play, you can at least live with the knowledge that you tried to force the issue and tie the game. And in this particular case, you are down a run. You bunted the guy to third. So you have one out, a man on third base, and you hit a fly ball to medium left center field. And you hold the guy up. Why? Because now Bregman has to get a hit to win the game. Someone has to get a hit. So I looked it up. I used a little bit of AI. I looked it up.
You used AI?
I used AI.
I reject. Boo.
Sell out.
You would use AI.
Here's why I used it. What percentage of the time does a runner score from third on a sacrifice fly? 80%. 80%. Now, there are variables there. Who's throwing, who's running, etc. But with less than 2 outs, the number is 80%. Make them make the play. Make them make the play. If your next hitter comes up with 2 outs, he's got to get a hit. What are his chances of getting a hit? At best, 30%, 29%. Alex Bregman's a 290 hitter-ish. So you've totally changed the dynamic. You bunted him over for the purposes of trying to get him home on a fly ball.
And there it was. And you don't send him. And why don't you send him? Here's the biggest outrage. It was predetermined. Alex Cora after the game, Jimmy Stewart, if you could, please.
On that play, there was Eaton third.
That's an impact arm in center field. We prepare before the series, and we decide who we're going to challenge and not. So we didn't challenge him.
Does that mean Eaton's called to stop, or is Hudson telling him?
We prepare before the series, and that's an impact arm, and we decided not to challenge him.
We decided before the series.
Predetermined.
We decided before the at-bat, before the series, before the game.
Correct.
What's the third base coach's name again? I'm going to
Hudson.
What's his first name?
Kyle.
Why even put Kyle Hudson there in the first place?
I agree.
If your whatever you use to determine that, your analytics, your algorithm, your analyst upstairs determines we're not going to run on, what's the center fielder's name?
I don't remember.
Cowser.
Colton Cowser.
You're not going to run on Colton Cowser. Why even have Kyle Hudson at third base in the first place?
Agreed.
Because he needs to steal signs.
Very good point. Let's hear from Kyle Hudson himself after the game. You know something's gone wrong when the third base coach is at the podium or in front of the Nesson post-game interview backdrop. That is the place the third base coach never wants to be.
Correct.
Because it means only one thing.
You screwed up.
He effed up. Here's Kyle.
Or he stole signs.
Or he's right. Someone tried to beat him up. Hold on, Stu. Or someone tried to beat him up.
Correct.
Because he was stealing signs.
Yes.
So it's one of two things. He was caught cheating, or he got someone thrown out at home, or he didn't send someone home when he obviously should have gone home.
Either way, not good.
In this case, it's what's behind door number C. Kyle Hudson postgame.
I was just saying that those types of things are, scouting before the series and, who's got the, armed challenge and who doesn't. Is that just what was going through the decision there?
Yeah, I mean, staying with the play the whole time, watching the play develop, understanding, the work that went into it, understanding that's an impact arm in center field. And, you see the play develop and use your instincts and you make the decision. And that's the decision I made. Obviously, the throw was offline. And, we got to live with it, and I live with it. And, it is what it is at this point.
How hard is it sometimes to kind of balance out his arm versus Nate's speed?
Yeah, I mean, I know Nate really well, obviously, and we know how fast he is, right? And so all that comes into play. In that moment right there, I felt like he was close enough, and with, obviously the advanced work that I've done, I felt like he had a good shot to be able to, make it a play, and that's the decision I made in the moment, and I live with that decision.
Kyle, in the moment, how much are you taking into account the depth of the fly ball? I mean, even with Cowser having the impact arm, how much of a variable is that?
Yeah, I think it's a huge variable. It's a huge variable, and I thought with his arm and the arm that he has and the distance that he was from home plate, I thought that he had a good chance to, make a play at home plate. So that's why I made the decision I did.
Okay, so the key part to both of those comments, I think, was Alex Cora saying we decided before the game, and Kyle Hudson, the third base coach, says understanding the work that went into it. Understanding the work that went into it. What do you think he's referring to?
Analytics.
The advanced scouting, the analytics, the binder that he's handed by the analytics department before the game, before the series.
Correct.
This is who we challenge. This is who we don't challenge. So it was predetermined. It was predetermined by the analysts that put together the game plan. And obviously, the human beings who were running the game could have overrode the computer. But they chose not to. They chose to let the autopilot drive the car straight into the tree.
Yep.
And then after the game, very subtly, they blamed the computer. That's what Alex Cora does when he says we decided before the game. And that's what Kyle Hudson is doing when he says understanding the work that went into it. They're throwing the analysts under the bus, as I guess they should. But, the human being can always take over the wheel of the car if they want.
Yeah, overrule it. Overrule it. So here's what I want to know. When they were discussing it and said, or they were handed the bind or whatever, and they were told we're not going to challenge this guy. Did anyone say, well, what if it's the bottom of the 11th inning? We bunt the guy to third. There's one out. And if we let him catch the ball and don't run, now we need a hit to win the game. What do we do then? And the ball's in the middle, in the gray area. Then what?
All they're doing, the analyst is, that's why they're not ruining sports, because I still love sports. But their value the analyst value is so overstated and overrated by the owners of these leagues that have employed these guys that it's not even funny, and it shows up on a nightly basis, on a yearly basis. They just have it wrong. What the analyst does there is just put into the computer the strength of the outfielder's arm, the distance of the throw, the speed of the runner, and that's it. You know what's not in that equation? Scoreboard.
Right. Situation.
The score of the game, the inning of the game, the situation of the game. Not in there. It's a strict X and O binary calculation. This is his arm strength. This is the runner's speed. This is the distance of the ball. Don't go.
The pressure that situation puts on the outfielder to make a good throw there because it's late innings. It's a tight game. Like, they don't factor those kinds of things in.
Especially when the guy on third can run.
Right.
Especially when he can run, because now the guy says, I don't have a lot of time. I got to hustle it up. And you know what happens? The ball sails up the third baseline because he overthrows it.
Would have hit the mascot if it was standing there. Not even close, because he buckled under the pressure, which the guys that run these sports don't factor in. It's why the Celtics lost a chance at another championship. It should keep you up at night. I have the sense it doesn't. I don't know why. And it costs you in those situations like last night. They don't factor in the human element. It's disgusting.
Oh, my gosh, really? That is the worst way to lose, if you ask me. The worst way to lose. You didn't even try. You didn't try because the numbers told you you might get thrown out, or you think you might get thrown out, and so you didn't even push the envelope. To me, that's the equivalent of not competing. That is not competing. That's not trying to put the pressure on the opposition. Like there's a clear line there on that play to me about, are you going to force the issue and try to force a mistake, or are you just going to accept the loss? And they accepted it.
What a loss. Bases loaded, nobody out in the eighth. Strikeout, strikeout, strikeout. They tie the game in the ninth. The dramatic, huge Fenway moment, 2-run home run by the new guy. Then they load the bases.
Because that Orioles pitcher was a puddle. He just wanted to walk guys. Oh, my God. Like, that game should have been over in the ninth.
Bases loaded in the eighth, strikeout, strikeout, strikeout. Bases loaded in the ninth, Story grounds out. Bases loaded in the 10th, 1 out. Abraham Toro grounds into the most tailor-made double play you could ever imagine, to the point where the Orioles second baseman was just sort of jacking around with it. Takes a knee, flips it to the side like Harlem Globetrotters. It was that easy.
It was easy.
He stinks.
Abraham Toro. Who was on the bench? Who could have hit in that situation? Can we second guess that? What did the computer spit out on that?
So what I want to know is, why was Toro in the lineup at all?
Okay.
The whole reason to get Nathaniel Lowe was to get Toro out.
But we're starting at the end. The computer, the analysts upstairs determined before the series they weren't going to run in that situation on that ball. And the humans didn't override it, and you lost a ball game. That should disgust you. It disgusts me. I'm not even a Red Sox fan.
You know, according to the analytics, I'm not supposed to work today.